Hello, I'm Jonathan Mason, and today I want to give you a healthy eating crash course for type 2 diabetics. Now, I suggest some of the foods that you should avoid and some of the foods that you should include in your cornucopia of foods that you enjoy. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I will see you after this disclaimer. A healthy eating crash course for type 2 diabetics. Now, I have 3 books that in my experience have been the most influential in my final formulation of healthy eating diet that has resulted in me reversing type 2 diabetes effectively. But as real life suggests, they do contradict each other in some way or other. Now, this is not unusual for academic books. So what are these 3 books? Well, the first book is 7 Steps to Health by Max Sideroff. A very good book, and he is all about eating vegetables and eating healthy foods and unprocessed foods and raw foods and stuff like this. Very good book. The other book is Dr. Atkins' New Revolution Diet. This is also a very informative book, but he's all about eating animal products, and he's on a lot about supplements and stuff like this. An excellent book, and he's also about the ketogenic diet. Now, obviously there is the third book, and it is this one, The Basic Human Physiology, Normal Function and Mechanisms of Disease by Guyton. Now, this book isn't a dieting book. This book explains in detail how the body works and how it absorbs all the nutrients. Now, I found this book by Guyton the most influential. It's a medical student textbook. So why am I mentioning these 3 books? Because from these 3 books, I have drawn out what I believe is the most useful and accurate information in today's world. So I'll reiterate my mantra. Don't be a follower, be a student. Learn what you can and view it objectively, and then take from it what you believe to be the most beneficial for you. And what you believe holds the most truth. It is your life. You must take charge and do all that you can to restore your health and give you the vitality and energy enabling you to be the best that you can be. So in this video, I will be tackling some of the basic foods that we should avoid and some of the foods that we should eat. Now, what I'm about to say is a very tough lesson, as most of the foods that we love and think that we can't do without are the foods that we are addicted to, and those are the foods that are probably doing the most harm. I found it tough going, but I was determined to reverse my type 2 diabetes. Now, most of the foods that I was addicted to are to be found in the unhealthy foods that we consume. I do cover food addictions in a later video, and the link is in the description box below. I wish to remind you from my video Understanding Diabetes, it was clear there was a direct link between insulin resistance and carbohydrates. This is singularly the most influential factor that will help you reverse your type 2 diabetes. So above all foods, you should avoid those that are carbohydrate rich. So it is in this enlightened bit of information that we should avoid all refined flours. Refined flours are carbohydrate rich, and they are completely nutrient void. They are things like breads and pasta and cookies and crackers and donuts and muffins and sugary cereals, microwave meals, ready meals, instant noodles, corn chips, etc., etc., etc. Now, avoid foods also that are very high in carbohydrates like potatoes and butternut squash and corn flour, etc. There are also foods that are manufactured and our bodies derive no goodness from them. They are by and large toxic to our bodies. High fructose corn syrup is one such food. It is very toxic to our health. There is absolutely nothing good in it. It has been refined so much that the body doesn't even recognize it as food anymore. It is commonly found in most soft drinks. It gets converted into fats faster than glucose, and it significantly raises our LDL, that is our bad cholesterol levels. It has no enzymes, vitamins, or minerals. So, while we're talking about high fructose corn syrup, let us also talk about sugar. Now, this includes honey. They are both very high on the glycemic index scales. So avoid all sugars, as they are very high in glucose. Lab tests have shown that refined sugar, now I'm not talking about honey here, but I'm talking about refined sugar, which is a table sugar that is found in your kitchen, and most of the sugar that goes into the foods that we eat, to be more addictive than cocaine. And that's quite a sobering thought, because it's not easy to get rid of sugars in your diet. And I think it is here that we must talk about artificial sweeteners, because as soon as a message got out that we should avoid sugar, they came up with artificial sweeteners. Now, these are all manufactured in the laboratory, and they are also quite toxic to our bodies. A lot of these manufactured foods are not even recognized by the body, which is designed to eat natural food. The only sweetener that I would recommend for a type 2 diabetic is stevia, as it is natural and it has no carbohydrates. So it's an excellent form of sweetening your food and your drinks. So let us look at some sugar-free foods you should avoid. They are things like diet sodas, sugar-free sports drinks, sugar-free snacks and desserts, sugar-free ice cream, sugar-free jams and spreads, sugar-free gum, sugar-free candy, basically anything that says sugar-free. So let us move a little further along and let us look at trans fats, vegetable oils and margarine, etc. Now, trans fats and hydrogenated oils and partially hydrogenated oils are made by heating the oil to very high temperatures and bombarding them with hydrogen. What this does is it modifies the cell structure of the oil and preserves its life almost indefinitely. Now, the body finds it very difficult to absorb foods like these. But further to this, the oils have absolutely no beneficial organisms left in them that would normally assist in the absorption of nutrients into the body. These products raise the LDL, which is your bad cholesterol levels, which can lead to the risk of heart attack and stroke and hardening of the arteries. It also damages the mitochondria in our cells, and the mitochondria produce energy for our cells to live and to function. We must avoid deep-fried foods that we get from our supermarkets and the local fast food outlets, as they use these oils to cook the food in. These oils are found in many products that should be avoided, and here are some of the foods that you should avoid. There are things like margarine, pastries and cookie dough, donuts, ready meals, frozen dinners, cheese spreads, fish and chips, burgers and fries, deep fried chicken, etc. Now, substitute these foods with real meat and vegetables. So what are the healthy fats that we should eat? They are fats like raw unpasteurized butter, coconut oil, hemp oil, virgin olive oil, flax oil, omega-3 fish oil. We need these oils because they help us to absorb nutrients into our bodies. They are absolutely vital to our health and well-being. Now, the worst of all the hydrogenated oils are things like corn flour, soy, safflower, sunflower, vegetable oils and canola oils. Never use these oils in your cooking. They are highly refined and they can lead to all sorts of trouble. Let us have a look at dairy products. Now, try and avoid milk, as it is very high in carbohydrates. Now, I did mention raw unpasteurized butter, but that doesn't have any carbohydrates in it, unlike the milk. Rather put whipping cream or double cream into your hot drinks instead of milk, but be aware that you should not go more than 3 tablespoons of cream per day either. Now, on this note, avoid caffeine. That'll be the tea and coffee and other products that are high in caffeine. Avoid caffeine because it will make you hungry. Avoid genetically modified foods like soy. Some of the foods to avoid are soy milk, soy baby formula, soy protein, soy energy bars, tofu, soy ice cream, textured vegetable protein, soy snacks like rice cakes, etc. Now, there are other foods to avoid, and there are things like energy bars and protein bars. Avoid soft drinks like Coca-Cola and other energy drinks. Avoid all heat-treated fruit juices. Rather opt for natural fruit juice, but once again, be aware that fruits normally have a high carbohydrate count and a high glycemic index number. But be aware that all fruits and vegetables have carbohydrates in them. I want to move on from here and talk about animal products. Now, there's a lot of controversy about animal products and the health benefits. But in my experience of going on the ketogenic diet, it is almost impossible without consuming some animal protein, as most alternative protein sources like nuts also have some sort of carbohydrates in them. Now, the ketogenic diet is a diet that switches your body from consuming mainly carbohydrates to one that consumes mainly proteins and fats. Now, I could not make the sums work with eating only vegetable products. I had to have some sort of animal product in my diet. You need significant protein and fat to supply your energy needs so that you don't feel hungry and you don't starve yourself. Now, good sources of protein are red meats, fish, eggs, chicken, pork, bacon. But please note that meat and eggs, etc., don't have any carbohydrates in them, but they are packed with protein and healthy fats. And this will give your body all the required energy it needs to get you through the day without becoming hungry. Or you must also be aware that some processed meats like sausages and ham have carbohydrates in them. So when you're buying some sort of processed meats, read the labels because it'll have the carbohydrate value on them. Raw unprocessed nuts are good. They are full of fiber, which is essential for your diet. So I would recommend including some raw and unprocessed nuts. Avocado pears is good, but be aware of the carbohydrates they have. They do tend to be quite high, but you can measure yourself off a small little portion. And the best vegetable foods for a type 2 diabetic are your dark leafy greens. These are vegetables like spinach and collard greens and broccoli and cabbage and kale and Swiss chard, etc. The thing about these vegetables is that they are nutrient dense and normally have a low glycemic index number and a low carbohydrate count. Another food I want to talk about is bee pollen. Whilst very healthy, it normally has a high carbohydrate count, so it should be avoided by very insulin-resistant people like me. Now, the other one is sprouted grains. Normally, I would suggest staying away from grains, but they are healthy. So if you want to consume them, then just remember to take the high carbohydrate count and the glycemic index number into consideration. But remember, there are other very good sources of fiber in foods like nuts and flax seeds, as well as there's some very sort of good supplements out there that can fulfill this part of your dietary requirements, because fiber is essential for a type 2 diabetic and everyone in general. Now, I want to talk about spirulina and chlorella. They are very healthy and nutrient dense. So when looking into superfood green powders as a health supplement, I would recommend that you make sure that these are on the list of ingredients. Now, alcohol is one of the foods that are very confusing. It has different effects on different people. It prevents the liver from producing glucose. On the short term, alcohol seems to lower the glucose reading, but alcohol does have a significant amount of carbohydrates in them. Alcohol can also damage your liver and your pancreas, which controls the absorption of glucose into the body. There is also an increased risk of hypoglycemia. This is very important for people who take insulin. I hope that this video has given you some sort of idea of what foods to avoid and which foods to eat. We have so many toxic foods on our shelves that it is difficult for a normal, healthy person to avoid them. But it is absolutely essential that we as type 2 diabetics avoid them at all costs. They are very poisonous to our bodies. If you want to learn more about what foods you should be eating, then visit my other YouTube site called RD Kitchen Garden. In this channel, I go through various food items and talk about what they give us and why, as a type 2 diabetic, we should or should not consume them. Now, investigating the cornucopia of type 2 diabetic foods is a new journey of discovery for me, and I would love you to learn with me as I investigate our food and discover what culinary delights a type 2 diabetic can enjoy. I'll leave the link to this site in the description box just below. But just as a parting note, we must stand guard at the entrance of our minds and not let our fickle taste buds dictate our health and our future. Assert your will over your body and you will become healthy. Your body is here to serve you. Don't let it be your dictator. Free yourself from its tyranny and you will be happier than you can imagine. All my videos on this program are free to look at. I give you the exact diet plan that I followed and the formula for you to calculate your own meal plans. I also give you information on how to go into the diet safely and how to avoid some of the experiences I had and how to come out of it safely. There's also advice on how to manage your diet and according to your diabetes once you have stabilized. I give you advice on what to look for as you grow older and maintain your self-rewarding health. Now reward yourself with good health and change your lifestyle like I did and enjoy more vitality and experience the joy of living life. Now in my next video, Begin to Reverse Type 2 Diabetes, I explain the first steps that you need to do before going into ketosis. This is important because phasing out of your medication slowly with the help of your doctor is vital to your safety and well-being, as this program really works. So please join me in my next video, Begin to Reverse Type 2 Diabetes. If you would like to help me reverse type 2 diabetes around the world, then please like, subscribe and share these videos. But if you would like to get involved in helping me to spread the word in a more direct way, then please go to my website where you can find the program's mission statement along with a complete set of videos and a whole lot of other helpful aids that a type 2 diabetic could need. It is also a place where I will hope to build a supportive community environment. I would like to thank anyone in advance who graciously donates to this cause and shares these videos. It is this support that enables this information to reach more people and to change lives. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.